Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? This is how to draw an arms the superhero way. I'm gonna be going over how to draw arms more like a comic book aspect of it, and that's pretty much it. This is the beginning of a series I'm gonna do, so follow the channel if you want to keep following. Right now, I'm gonna go over some basics about arms, and then I'm gonna draw out an arm, maybe two of them, just to kind of show you. So, when you're drawing an arm, a good thing to think about would be the delta. So I usually think of the arm as like a tube. Thinking of it as a cylinder really simplifies it down for you. It's such a big deal to think about it very simply, and then you're adding the things over that. So over that you can start breaking it up into more shapes, smaller shapes. Right now we're not thinking about muscle. You just want the general direction. For example, then after that, you go into things like the ball of the shoulder. This area would be the bicep and tricep area. The elbow itself. And you think about the forearm, right down to the wrist. You start to break that up. As we're going along further, if you're thinking of just the forearm, I always think of the forearm because the wrist is very square. I think of the forearm as very rectangular, and it goes into a rounder shape as it goes up to the forearm area toward the elbow. And I think of the bicep and tricep as kind of a ball, and again we're talking about the shoulder in the back. So something to keep in mind, keeping in mind overlapping, that's why I'm doing these simplistic shapes. I'm not going to do the hand yet, but I'll do the hand in another video, but I will kind of add something there. But when you're talking about what overlaps what, a big part of that would be, see, this is overlapping that as it comes forward. So if we're to take, let's say, this shape right here of the arm, and you have this shape of this arm, you want to know which one is coming forward, which chunk, which is it, the forearm that's coming in front that's closer to the viewer, or is it the arm and upper arm that's closer to the viewer? For example, I'm going to throw this overlapping line here. And ignoring, the hand and stuff. This bicep is coming in front of the forearm. So because of that, this bicep and the upper arm will most likely be closer to us. And I'm going to show you here the opposite. Imagine the same arm, same musculature, except now the wrist is coming out, coming forward. And it's all because of the lines you're overlapping. Let me give you another more simple example on the side here. So let's say you have this circle and you have this circle. If you were to move them together, you don't know which is in front of which. You don't know if this circle's small or if this one's just closer to you. You don't know that until they cross. So what if they cross? I'm sorry, let me color this one in just to kind of drive this point home. What if they cross over? It's like that. That'll let you know that the black ball is just smaller and this is a larger object. But the black baller is closer to the viewer. But what if they overlap? And it's like this. If they overlap and it's like that, that means that the bigger ball, you don't know if that's a bigger ball or not. It's just closer to the viewer, this particular ball. And then this is back there, and you don't know what size it is. It might be just far away. Does that kind of make sense? If that doesn't make sense, please comment to me in the comment section. So that overlapping is such a big deal when it comes to muscularity. And I will talk about that more, as I'm drawing it. So let me kind of talk about how people tend to go over muscles, and I'm going to be using a pencil as well. Right now I'm using these Micron pens, but I'm going to be using a pencil also. So let me, I had one over, oh, I have one right here. This is just a regular pencil. So I'm going to draw a normal arm and a superhero arm. I'll draw maybe like a fist at the end of it, but we're not going to really go over hands right now. We're going to be going over just the arm section. So normally I start with those simplistic shapes like I told you, those tube-like forms, just thinking about it. And then I'm going to overlap the anatomy. And I'm going to go over the anatomy as I'm going over this, just the regular arm, I guess. So I'm going to go over with the smaller one. So let's just go over this. We all have a deltoid, which is the top part of the shoulder. The deltoid is generally made up of 3 muscles. Let me do this on the superhero one. The deltoid is normally made up of 3 muscles. And those muscles are, one second, let me fix the camera. The deltoid, like I said, right here, it attaches to the mid part of the arm down here. They're made up of 3 sections, and they may create one deltoid. There's the middle deltoid, I think you call them medial deltoid, and then the rear deltoid and the front deltoid. I forget the scientific names. That goes in and it attaches to the bicep. Not attaches, but next up is the bicep on the front and the tricep on the back. Tricep is made up of 3 different muscles. The bicep is made of 2, but kind of seems to form one and strengthen together. You go straight here with a tendon. And there's a muscle that connects the arm, that interconnects it. Because sometimes if you don't put this particular muscle I'm about to say, if you don't put it, it kind of looks like a Barbie doll or something like that. It's going to look weird and weak and strange. It's going to look like the 2 boxes connecting is just to start out, but you want to connect them with this muscle. And that is the brachioradialis. It goes around. So when you have the bicep around this section, and then in between you have the brachialis and a couple of things, and then the brachioradialis that I was talking about connects into that. And then you have the tricep on this section, if you're looking at it from this angle. If you ever look at this, Bruce Lee has it huge. You know, this is a brachioradialis. Look at Bruce Lee. You see that particular muscle is gigantic. It's freaky. And it goes down into just the wrist. They slim down. Right here, I would see that bone sticking out, which is the I think it's the ulna bone sticking out. It's not like here. You can see it on me. I'm gonna bring it up, and there's some more extensors on this side. The muscles of the forearm aren't really complicated, but I don't really remember a lot of the small ones, at least by name. Usually just gotta know the way they look, and then the rest of this brachioradialis right here. And that's gonna go down into the arm. We're not gonna draw the hand right now. I'm just gonna leave that as a box. That's like, this is a more muscular arm. If you want to play it down, well, let me continue this particular one. So with superheroes and things of that sort, what you really want to do is that you, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Particularly with superhero arms, you want to make them exaggerated versions. You want to make them more muscular. And to do that, I'm not going to show it to you flexing right now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the parts of it. They tend to do this thing where light comes from one side and the other. And then you're throwing in a lot of value. So if light's coming from here, mostly, usually from above, it'll kind of bounce off the ground to kind of show off the form. In doing so, you're going to have some shadows that are sort of not centered, they're closer to one side, but there will be light on the other side. So let me give you an example. If I was to draw a circle, this is going to be on the page, let me see. If I was to draw a circle right here, the light will come from here and bounce off the bottom. And because of that, you're going to have, there won't be just one solid shadow pattern, since light's coming from the bottom. You're going to have this effect. Where there's going to be this shadow at the center. That's called a core shadow. So when that happens, it gives it kind of an attractive look as well. They use this a lot within comics. And this is going to do it here with this arm. All along the arm, though. So I want to trace this arm. I'm gonna put it all the way down. Well, I'm gonna do this all the way down. I'm gonna let me fast forward this. So, I don't know if you saw what I did there, but, I mean, I know you saw what I did there, but I made it just like this circle there. Let me, make this a box over here, just so you know what I'm talking about. We're going to go over, the hand in another video, but, anywho, so anyways, that's what I did with that particular arm, if you can tell. So if you want to put more detail into that, you could do that. You can, you know, you want to make the shadow dissipate out, and that's when you can do the cross hatching with a smaller. You can be really small and fine, or you can just use the same one that you used. And the way you cross hatch is you're following the form of that shoulder, of that deltoid, and you're crossing over that. Same thing here, the roundness of the deltoid, but don't do it too much because it's closer to the light. This is when decision making really comes in. You have to decide where in particular you're cross hatching and where you're not. Again, the roundness of the form. Right here as well, along these tendons here. Consider that like you're kind of tracing a ball or something, like a roundness. You gotta think of the roundness of the form. That would be more of a superhero-esque arm. If you want to play it down, I'm gonna grab the other right here. It's called the Pigma Graphic 1. It's that's the brand. If you want to do more of a, could be more of a female arm. You take those same qualities, but you play them down, or just don't make things as huge. Obviously, nowhere near as huge. A little bit of the again, that muscle I told you that connects everything. That is the brachioradialis. And again, I'm just gonna put that on there, a hand shape, but we're not gonna go over the hand. Looks like they have like a lobster hand. That's funny. We're not gonna again go over hands right now. And you can do the exact same thing. Light's coming from above, and it will bounce off from the ground below, but not as strong. That's why the shadow is closer to the bottom. And I'm going to, this particular line, this particular darkness, it becomes a shape of its own in a way, and you want to have that variation between thick to thin. And you want, I'm going to grab the smaller one, the Micron. This is the Micron 05, Pigma Micron 05. And I'm going to do the same thing in crosshatch. This is exactly the way they did a lot of comics, or still do them. Use a cross-hatching pattern. The type of cross-hatching is really up to you, and like I said, I'll go over, I'll make a whole video entirely on what kind of cross-hatching, or different kinds of cross-hatching and how to do it. I think I have one video on cross-hatching, but I'm starting these anew, and I think I'm go about it a little bit differently, these tutorials. Anyways, that's pretty much it. That would be a male arm and a female arm. That's a big part of it. I didn't go over every part of the anatomy. If you want another video on that, I will. But I'm gonna start going down the line, different parts of the body, more like the superhero way, though. Thanks a lot, guys. I will see you next time, and please subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you soon.